A lot of bird activity happening.
They're mating.
We have the windows up. I see what you did there.
Well, I mean, it is about, twin flame sex, right?
Well, that's what they want to talk about. Let's talk about it.
Yep, let's do it. So,
We're throwing the whole family show out the window right now.
well, so if you're underage, please just turn this video off.
Get it off the thing.
Just turn it off. Okay, so the first one was, am I crazy?
What we're talking about today.
Twin flame sex.
Right, you can't just
3D,
jump into a question
5D.
about sex.
Well, 3D, 5D, all of that, everything that's in between, but just this energy that seems to go through your body, I guess, is...
We're going to talk about twin flame sex.
Yes. Yep. So the first one is, am I crazy because I'm not physically attracted to anyone other than my twin flame?
I'm going to touch on this, right? Because I personally get a lot of questions about this, right? Because sometimes I make comments on my Facebook or whatever. Really, who forgot to shut the phone off?
You. Here.
For heaven's
Start
sakes.
over. Or just go.
No, we're fine.
Okay, good.
Is it off now?
It should be off.
Because that could happen 40 more times.
I forgot
before
about the
this
do
video's
not
off.
disturb thing. The do not disturb thing makes all the difference.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So, the question, am I crazy because I'm not physically attracted to anyone other than the twin flame? No, you're not crazy. When it comes to being physically attracted to someone, I'm clearly extremely physically attracted to Lee. And Lee is the only one I want to have those types of relations with. There's nobody that I would be like, I would jump his bones. I mean, I would joke about it, but there's no. Here's the thing: when you see somebody on TV, you have these little, or in the movies or whatever, and you have these little
Crushes?
I don't know if they're crushes.
No.
You know what I mean? Me and Lee joke. We're friends. We're friends. Fans. We watch Friends all the time, but we joke about this little list.
The list.
The list. If you all watch Friends, you know what the list is. When I see a commercial with Shamar Moore, right?
Yeah, here we go.
He's adorable. He's very physically attractive. Do I want to sleep with Shamar Moore? No, I don't. Would I like to have a picture with me licking his face? I might.
Sorry, Shamar.
Would I want to French kiss him? No. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Would I like a picture with him kissing my cheek? Probably. Right? You see where I'm going here? I mean,
I think we get it.
I don't want to lay down and have sex with Shamar Moore. Or Taye Diggs. Or Boris Kojo.
Jesus.
Or Morris Chestnut.
Wow.
Or Vince Steele.
Okay, that's enough.
Or Chad Kroger. That's my list.
Wow.
You have a list, but physically attracted to others, there's physically attractive people out there. You want to jump their bones? People are physically attractive. Some people aren't. Would Shamar Moore want to kiss my cheek? Probably not. Right? But to answer your question, no, I don't think you're crazy. But obviously in the 3D world, being 3D, there's no one in my eyes that could or is more attractive than Lee in my eyes. If, Lee and Shamar Moore were standing next to each other, Lee would be more physically attractive to me. Because I know Lee's soul. I know Lee. And I know where his heart's at. And I know that the physical attraction is deep and it's there. Right? But as far as not being physically attracted to others, I don't think you're crazy. No, not at all. It's just not my personal experience, okay. Right? And where there's nobody but you in my eyes. There are other physically attractive people out there. It's just fact.
Right. But I have a different outlook on this. I see your essence. I see your physical. I see your radiance. I see, and it's not duplicated anywhere. And I believe the way that I see you and the way that it feels, and just looking at you and being physically attracted to you, I see like all of you. I see every aspect of you, and when I'm looking around, you can't see that anywhere. I for some reason, my sight is just honed into the entire essence and energy and the physical and the beauty and the sexiness that you carry. And it's interesting because you can't see it unless you actually close your eyes and see through my eyes how I see it. So I understand this question completely. There's this energy that, and even sometimes it's intimidating. I mean, I literally feel like you're just this beautiful goddess, and I'm just here. Like I could be the servant, like in the quarters, like hidden someplace. Kind of something like that. We'll talk about that some other time because that's a different kind of fantasy.
However, if Sandra Bullock was in the room,
she's attractive.
Right.
I wouldn't want to,
right.
But
it's the same. It's the same scenario.
Yeah, same scenario.
Yeah. There are other physically attractive people. That doesn't mean you want to go be with them, or
no, it doesn't. And considering, when I look at what this shifted in me and what this showed me on the inside, the way that I feel about you, I'm only physically attracted to you.
Right.
And sexually attracted to you. See, I believe there's two different things. I believe you can have physical attraction to everybody, but sexual attraction,
right,
or the sexual energy itself, when you see somebody's radiance in that way, you just can't see it. It's not like your eyes can focus and make yourself see that in everybody. I believe it's just a centered experience.
It's just a great way to put it, that there's physical attraction and sexual attraction.
Yeah.
And I mean, clearly, you see Shamar Moore's not an ugly guy. He's physically attractive, but he's not.
You're getting out of hand.
He's
because
not.
I think you keep
if he watches this, I'm so sorry.
You keep name dropping.
I'm so sorry, Shamar. I didn't mean to do that. But clearly, I'm not sexually attracted to him.
It's a physical attraction.
And I'm not even physically. It's just, he's not a bad-looking guy.
But there's something in the physical energy itself, the radiance in itself. I mean, it's kind of like, you see a physical attraction, but there's something about this sexual attraction, then there's something about this sexual attraction when it comes to this connection.
Yeah.
And it really is kind of something all to itself. It's hard to really see past it. And plus, it's a different way to communicate with one another as well. But we'll get into that.
Mm-hmm. I hope that helped.
Yeah.
It sounds confusing to me.
What is it that makes twin flame sex so damn good?
Spiritual energy.
Yeah, I agree with that.
For sure. There's a level of out-of-body experience that comes into play.
Or deep in-body experience.
Yeah.
It could be both. It does feel like out-of-body because you just don't experience it anywhere else. But it's really a present experience. It's almost like you can't even be in your head. Mm-hmm. You have to be in the body. And when you're completely in the body, you're completely grounded in being. So your being is able to communicate. And it's almost like you can actually communicate in a deeper way. And it's not just sex, it's something else.
I can bring this down to a 3D level.
Okay.
In very 3D human world, and you can sit there all you want and deny it, but it's even scientific fact. When you're engaging in sexual activity with someone, there's mind images, right? And it could be anything. It's called the fantasizing. There are things that go on in your mind that help get the juices flowing and put you into the moment, right? And those images may not. Who knows? They could be from a magazine, from the whatever site. Those images are what does it,
Right.
right? It enhances the act, the physical act of what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And you may be completely physically attracted to the person you're with and in that moment with that person, but there are still mind things going on. There are still images. There are still fantasizing. There are still things that's happening, right? When you're in a 5D space or with a twin flame or with someone you're spiritually connected to or someone you're connected to, that doesn't have to happen.
Right.
That doesn't happen. You're completely lost in the moment with yourself. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a complete let go of any blocks, of any mental images, of any fantasizing, of any body judging, of any self-conscious things that are happening. You completely are free to let go and enjoy and physically feel the way you're being touched and what's going on. There's nothing else, no images, nothing like that involved.
I agree. I believe there's that energy, and that's a very powerful energy unto itself. But then there's this other energy as well, which I think for me it has this. I don't know. It's almost like it lines up something on the inside of you.
Like your chakras are all aligned.
And it's based in the touch. It's based in the motion. It's based, and it's really strange because you can kind of pretty much stay still, and something just kind of activates when you're in those moments, or even when you just start thinking about them, where you actually can feel like you feel that you want that energy, and it has almost a freeness to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like you get to break free of. Well, you get to be nature itself, I guess, is what the bird's trying to say.
Oh, birds. You're the birds.
Is it common to feel like the world disappears when having sex with your twin? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, it's a universal connection, so you pretty much get to explore the universe with each other.
Very much so.
But
Yeah.
does anyone else orgasm at the thought of twins' touch? Yes. I can see that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I want to back that up a little bit.
Okay.
Early days, and by the way, they're gone, so they're never going to be released, so don't worry about it. Back early in the day.
Oh.
And I was watching porn. I was trying to do anything I could just to get to that, right? Just to get to that point. But nothing was working because we had met and we had been together. So nothing worked except for the mental images of you and your touch and you, right? So it was that we weren't together at this point, but we were talking, and I had you make me a couple videos, and those turned into my porn.
Those will never be released to the public, by the way.
They're gone.
They're gone.
They're really gone. But those were the only things that will get me that would get me to that place, right? Even when we were in separation the last time and they were gone, the images of those is what got me there.
Wow.
Nothing else would. Nothing else would. And I tried anything else. Unfortunately, when I was with someone else, it was the images of those things that got me there.
Which caused the pain.
Yeah.
Connection and pain, but we'll talk about that.
So definitely that's a true statement, because once you experience that ultimate experience, but still leaves you hanging for more, and then there's more, and then you discover more, and then you discover more. But that's a very true statement. Yes, it does.
Absolutely. And I was very visual before then, but then after you, I couldn't. It was like there was so much. There was this gap or space where I couldn't obtain that.
Mm-hmm.
And it started to make sense of what am I doing with that? There's a point to this. There's a energy in it that just really the word is escaping me because I don't believe there is a word that you could choose for that. And I think everybody can kind of, if you've had that experience, you know what I'm saying. It's like if I try to put a word there, it kind of almost minimizes what I'm actually stating. And it's not, you can't duplicate it. You can't just go find somebody random. You could try, but you literally will soul suck the other person, and that's not a good thing to do. Let's see. How the hell am I supposed to exist knowing what sex with twin is like, and I can't have it because twin is not with me?
Well, we just kind of touched on that.
Yeah, and the thing is they bring out something in you that you haven't explored. I think for me, I didn't really understand my sexual self as much as I thought I did because, the collective wants you to believe that sex is this particular thing and it's for creation. And yes, it is creation energy, but there's also a creation of love in it. So now you know that there's more than what it is. And you know that it's much more vast than that. So I wouldn't say you don't need to compare. If you're not with your twin and you do end up having it, it's like you know something different on the inside of you and you connect to that within you if you're going to go that route. If you're not, at least you have that connection to yourself. And that really sometimes, as long as you don't enter the words of lonely or loneliness or alone or those kinds of things, or they don't want me, or if you just stay out of that realm and just stay connected to yourself, the energy will show back up. Always has. Did you have anything to add to that?
I hope that helped.
I hope I said it human enough. Does anyone else feel the highest psychic connection occurs when having sex with twin? And this is what I think I was talking about with communication. It is a form of this, when we're connected in that way, there is an exchange of psychic, of emotional, of sexual, of physical, empathic. All it seems to all be wrapped up in there. But I believe there's a real deep communication that is occurring when we're that way. Mm-hmm. And if you've experienced that, it's almost like them when they really talk to you. It's almost like they can't. You don't say the same things that you're saying in those moments. Actually, most people are afraid to open up and say those things because you do become deeply vulnerable when you're in that space and having sex with your twin. And I didn't know that could be intertwined with all of it.
It heightens everything.
Absolutely.
Everything's heightened.
Mm-hmm. Can anyone else recall in detail almost every sexual encounter they ever had with twin?
Ooh, that would take a while.
I see that. I like the way that question's asked because it makes me. Here's the thing that I think happens when we're not in that. I'm still in it. I still feel that energy in me. I still have those feelings and that vision and those. I mean, the energy just doesn't like go out of your body and then it's like I don't push it out of me. I let it stay in me. So it's almost like I can stay in that energy. But then, I do have random ego attacks that I try to attack it because it's just not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I realize, wait a minute, I'm going to stay in this energy because this energy feels so much better. But if I get in my head about it, and then I try to go through the details where I go, whys, and there's a lot of whys or whats or hows, and it's like, why even do that? Why not just stay in the energy itself? So,
I'll go ahead and read this.
Okay.
I'm just really tormented by this feeling and the associated emotions. The feeling is overwhelming and frankly it scares me. What it boils down to is I need to know what the fuck. Oh, that took a lot. Yeah. Is this magic and why does it consume me? It's like a drug. I want to attribute it to analogize it that way. I just
Yeah.
It's very much like a high.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Sometimes even like a psychedelic trip.
Yes.
Um, it takes you to a place spiritually that is very magical. Um, I think Lee was touching on this a second ago, but when you're finished with the physical act, the energy's still there.
Mm-hmm.
It's still in you,
Yes.
and it still releases endorphins,
Mm.
right?
A bunch of
A
things.
bunch of endorphins, and um, there's just a level of hormones that physically are released, right? And it just feels tingly and magical.
Mm-hmm.
Like somebody was spreading fairy dust over you, and you're there living in it,
Right.
right? And then what happens as human beings? Um, we're laying there in this energy, and then the damn mind comes into play, and oh, the electric bill's due, oh, the floor needs swept, oh, the dishes need done, oh, I got laundry. And then that tingly feeling kind of diminishes because you've let your mind come in and destroy that. If we would just bask in that longer and keep it with us.
And then you have that energy where you're in that energy and you're looking at your twin going, are they still in it? Are they still feeling it? Can they stay around a little bit longer? Can they, it's almost like all of your needs and wants have to surround that actual feeling, where need and want are already fulfilled in that feeling. So it's almost like the more, because as human beings, we really always are searching and looking for more. And then we start to come up with all the other stories. I'm not enough, I'm not this, I'm not that. And then next thing you know, it does take over you and it does consume you. But see, what you're saying is you don't enjoy the aftermath, but you enjoy the actual action itself. Well, who told you had to leave the action itself? So it's almost like you have to see that there is a space there where you have to abandon or reject that feeling. And we've even heard of like, well, the only time they really want to talk to me or they want to be with me is because when we do this, this seems to really be what they want me for. But the deeper part of that is that's the only time you're really opening up yourself, your heart, your body, your everything, and really talking to them. And they know that it's somehow you either fall back into their mind or they fall back into their mind. And then you have that disconnect again. And the disconnect is not there. I don't believe the disconnect actually shows up because of what that feeling is. It shows up because there were some other parts of disconnection that were already in play. How often do you guys talk about it? And most people believe that we text and we get kind of dirty. Then next thing you know, we meet up and then we have it and then we kind of separate. But then I'm left thinking, why don't they want to stay around? Why don't they want to talk? Why don't they? And it's like, well, how do you stay in that energy and speak from it?
Right.
And it's really it took us a while to figure that out. If we're not communicating in that energy, even verbally, something happens in the connection that we think the other person's abandoning it, or we think that we're abandoning it, or we're being rejected in it, when there's no truth to any of that. And then you get into, oh, I hope I have this more in the future. Oh man, I remember in the past. And the next thing you know, you're no longer in that energy or what it represents anymore. That is how we run and chase from ourselves, because I believe that happens. And even us being together in this depth of it, we capture it a lot faster. But at the same time, I think we still see we have those moments and we're like, well, just stay in this energy with me. Just stay here. And where'd you go? What do you do? And it becomes this space where you feel like, okay, now I'm just going to be thinking about it all the time. I'm wondering why they're not thinking about it. And next thing you know, you're seeking out the rejection. And it becomes something that, like you said, it's like a drug. You believe that it's as long as it's available to you, you can actually do it. But then when something happens and it takes, so you feel like the drug is taken away from you. You think the other person took it away, when in truth, you're the one that actually took it, opened up to it, and left it open, and then you slowly started to close it down. So that would be why it probably consumes you. I guess the question is, that I would ask you back is, why do you let it go? Why don't you just enjoy being
consumed.
in that, stay in that energy? The magic itself, why not stay there? Because ultimately what that does is just keeps pulling them closer and closer. But if you want to push them, just, if you feel like, oh, this is too much, I can't walk around this way, this is not a great state of being, I believe what we do is we push away our dream in that moment. And literally the universe has to give you what you dream.
I think we're going to go through one more question, and we're going to have a part 2. And so,
these are really great questions.
I know.
Yeah.
That way we can answer more questions as well.
Yeah.
So, let's take one more, and then we will wrap it up, and we'll record a part 2 very soon.
Yes.
What does the experience feel like? We kind of just touched on that, right? Magic.
That felt a whole bunch of energy just on the inside, just letting that question be felt in me.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, again, I think that's that space where I can't, there's not a word.
Right.
We could, you don't have a Sherryism for this? You don't have a Sherry word?
I mean, I don't.
Come on now, you came up with the great like standstiller. You can't come up with this one?
Well, it's just an energy that really can't be labeled or named. It just is a very spiritual, physical experience.
I guess.
I don't know if those two words ever go together, but it.
You know, there's a way that I think I could probably try to describe it. If you could be the flame itself and be on the inside of that and do the little dancing part that happens to a flame, that would be very close to that feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Sort of.
Well, if you put them together.
Yeah.
You know, you're both dancing in the same direction. This is.
I'm trying to come up with a really good analogy, and there's just nothing that would quite compare to it. It's just just a very spiritual, heightened.
Yeah.
Time. It just.
It's like if you could jump out of a plane at 10,000 feet and not have to worry that you know that you're going to land and it's going to be a very soft landing.
On your feet.
Is that
on your feet and run off.
And run off. And as if it's almost flight is probably the best way. I mean, there's so many words.
Yeah.
Wow. But again, we're talking about an energy that you have in you. Mm-hmm. The other person just kind of, you have a choice of opening up and sharing it with this person that you're connected to. But you also have the option not to.
Mm-hmm. We are going to be running a twin flame sort of, I forget the name of it, it's not in front of my face, but Sex with Twin webinar. I think it's in a couple weeks, so if you're interested in the webinar, I think it's $100.
Yep.
And we're going to be really talking, really going deep into that.
Yeah, and it'd be real time.
That was bad. Anyway, I have to
go ahead.
We're really going to be exploring this subject and taking your personal questions if you're in the workshop and answering them personally. You know, from these webinars when we do them, when they're based on twin flame and twin flame sex, we do not record them because the people that are in, we do get very personal questions and it's a real interesting time. The webinar is 45 minutes. If you're interested, email us at info@relationshipreinvented.com. We run them every 2 or 3, 4 months. So if you just want to get in on this one, let us know. And if you can even comment here, and we'll get right back with you.
Yep. Love you guys. Take care.
Watch for part 2.